Good morning. Welcome to the August AEE chapter webinar. We're glad you've made time to join us today, and we look forward to the program that we've got laid out for you. Our topic today is CWEEL, and the participants today are Laurie Wingard-Jackson and Deb Lenny. But first, we're going to hear from Michelle Whitlock and get a quick update on AEE. Michelle?
Thanks, Bob. Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining us. This will be recorded and sent out, so if somebody's not on yet or you want to share this later, we'll send out that video, the recording, so you can share it with your other chapter members and chapter officers. Just a few quick updates before I hand it over to Lori and Deb. AEE World is going to be virtual this year. We finalized the dates for December 1st through the 4th, and we have a new platform, which is different from AEE West, if any of you attended that. So look for some more details around that. We have our first email going out next Tuesday that'll have a lot more information, but just kind of a save the date, a final date, if you will. Next, I sent an email yesterday to the chapter presidents. We have every year, in conjunction with AEE World, we do an annual CEM skills update. And this year it's going to be virtual, the same time frame that it was going to be previously held if we had a live world event. So September 21st through the 22nd. And I think they're doing some coupons and giveaways type things for the first 25 people who register. So if you're interested in that, it is virtual via Zoom. Eric Woodruff is the instructor. You can find out more details at education.aeecenter.org or just send me a quick email. And then lastly, save the date for the annual chapter leadership meeting and chapter recognition awards. This is going to be Thursday, November 12th. So we didn't want to do it in conjunction with AEE World. Just too many virtual meetings in 1 week might not be good. So we're saving it till November, and I will be in contact with the chapter officers in the next couple of weeks, finalizing topics and speakers and the details on that. But again, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. And that's all for me. So I'm going to pass it over to Bob or Lori, whoever wants to go.
I'm going to thank you very much, Michelle. We really appreciate that. I'm going to turn it over to our CWEEL leaders and ask you guys to take the lead.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks, Michelle and Bob. Lori and I are so excited to be here today to talk about CWEEL chapter liaisons and something new, which is chapter leads. My name is Deborah Lenny. I am on the CWEEL National Board as the chapter liaison committee chair. I currently have a chair of a committee of 30 men and women across AEE chapters. So very excited. I've been on the board for 2 years now, and we started with 0 chapter liaisons. We're happy to have a group of 30. Real quick background on me. Been in the energy industry for 30 years. I've had a variety of different roles throughout my career. I've worked for companies like PSE&G, Hess Corporation, and currently with Direct Energy. Crazy enough, as an engineer, running a sales organization for them right now. So I basically run the large industrial and commercial sales teams for Direct Energy. Again, very, very happy to be here. And I'm going to pass it over to Lori, who is our CWEEL National Board Chair. Take it away, Lori.
Thanks, Deb, and so glad to be here with all of you this morning. My background also over 30 years in the energy industry, kind of a broad range of positions, from being an engineer at the utility company to doing startups in the commodity, natural gas and electric commodity space, to doing a business startup around demand response, which I had my company for 10 years. Recently sold it, and now I am consulting on my second entrepreneurial gig. So, and CWEEL is very important to me. Trying to address diversity in our industry is paramount to really having innovation and you know, a workforce for the future. So I wanted to start out with a polling question. And the first one is, how many of you are already aware of CWEEL and know what we are and what we do? I'll let you all answer here. Okay, so it looks like we've got about 60% of our pollers are familiar with us, 40% are not. That's great. It means that we're doing a pretty good job of getting our mission and our name known out there, but I'm really glad also for those that don't know about us that we will go over a little bit about who CWEEL is and then talk about opportunities at your local chapters. So CWEEL is a division of the Association of Energy Engineers. Sometimes there's confusion around that. People trying to understand what is our relationship. So it's very important to know there are several divisions that AEE operates, and CWEEL, which is the Council on Women in Energy and Environmental Leadership, is one of those divisions. We initially started out providing a network for women in our industries, but our mission evolved to support career development for professional women, including mentoring, networking, and then also to provide scholarships for women who are aspiring to pursue technical education and careers in the energy and environmental fields. And we focus on increasing the diverse membership of AEE by involving women in all levels of participation and in leadership at AEE. If you, again, want to know more about our organization, or if you have individuals, members, or people that you're looking to recruit as members into your local chapter, we included our website, and we also have a video that you could share about CWEEL. Okay. So our organization has a working board that each board member chairs a committee. And we wanted to share this with you because we'd love for you to encourage your members to join CWEEL and to start participating in some of our committees. So we have a career advancement committee that focuses on training and webinars. Deb, who you've just met, oversees our chapter liaisons. That's the interface between each chapter and CWEEL's board. We have fundraising and corporate sponsorships, an international CWEEL group committee, marketing, communications, and social media. So we actually put out a newsletter 4 times a year, as well as we have a LinkedIn and other social media presence for CWEEL. Our mentor program is something that really anyone could participate in. We love to see both men and women who have some longevity and experience in our industry participate as mentors for women that are in our industry. So this is a really important program that's growing, and another one that we'd love for you to share with your members and participate in. And we do programs and events at the AEE conferences. Many of you may have already participated in our CWEEL breakfasts. They're very highly attended, as well as our receptions, and then of course scholarships, awards, and student enrichment. And Michelle Whitlock is our coordinator with AEE, so we're so happy that Michelle's on our team. So over the last couple of years, we've focused on building a chapter liaison within every AEE local chapter. Today we have 30 chapter liaisons, so there is still work to be done. Many chapters still do not have chapter liaisons, so we've made great progress in the last 2 years. What's new, and we're going to talk about both of these, the chapter liaisons, but what's also new and we wanted to share with you is this concept of the CWEEL Lead. The CWEEL Lead is ideally a woman who would hold a position on your local board and who would help to form a local CWEEL group. These CWEEL groups would focus on recruiting, engaging, and bringing women into the local chapters. So it helps you to grow your local chapter, and it's needed to help increase diversity of our local chapters, which we've identified as something that is an issue, the lack of overall diversity across our chapters and throughout AEE. The CWEEL groups can host separate networking events, right now virtually, of course, and they can work together with other local chapters to form a regional CWEEL networking event. And then they can also work to support events in conjunction with your local chapter that focus on advancing women in energy. This is a topic that's getting a lot of attention, and we want to make sure that we're supporting your local chapters in being able to address it at the local level. So one of AE's goals is to have the CWEEL chapter lead and a CWEEL chapter liaison designated for each local AEE chapter. While they may be the same person, we are strongly encouraging local chapters to identify 2 women to hold these 2 distinct positions. The chapter leads are leaders in the AE chapters who encourage, strengthen, and inspire other women to network and grow professionally in their area. I'm sure every one of you knows of 1 or more women that fit that description. The chapter leads will hold a position on that local AE chapter board, and AE is working on drafting an amendment so that it can be easy for you to amend your chapter bylaws to include this position in your local board. It's important because we want to have women having experience in leadership at AEE. And once they participate in your local board, as I did, gosh, over 20 years ago with my New Jersey chapter, it led me ultimately to becoming president of my local chapter and then regional vice president. And then in 2007, I had the privilege of serving as the president of AEE across the international organization. And it all started with that first invitation to participate in that local chapter board. So that is part of why we think it's important that our CWEEL chapter leads hold that position on the local chapter board. And again, their main objective is to establish and grow a CWEEL group within your local chapter to recruit and engage more women in the local chapter. Now I'm going to hand it off to Deb, and she's going to talk more about that chapter liaison role.
Thanks, Lori. So I was really happy to hear that there is a decent percentage of the folks on the call today that have chapter liaisons, because the lead and the liaison are really 2 different roles, as Lori described. The chapter liaison's role is more to be the coordinator of all communication between CWEEL and chapters. And we're meeting right now every month, and we're talking about things like scholarships that are available, mentoring pairs, men and women looking to be mentored, our fundraising efforts, and of course, membership. And really, the chapter liaison is really there to provide you support and CWEEL support, and really share best practices between the 2 groups to ensure that we're driving membership. We're driving membership for AEE and CWEEL, and then we are all becoming better around the topics of diversity and inclusion, and just creating a more prominent voice for women in the industry. I mean, ultimately, we want to succession plan and begin to succession plan for leaders within the AEE chapters and include more diversity in the succession planning. And we have another poll question here. We're just curious to know, does your chapter have a chapter liaison? That's great. I mean, you know, it's interesting to see the poll 40% to 60%. And yes, that's about right. I actually did some investigative work with Michelle prior to the meeting and looked at and who had chapter liaisons. So that's great. And really, I think what's important with that is the chapters that have a chapter liaison, they can utilize that person, number one, to see if they would be interested in becoming the chapter lead on your board or staying in that chapter liaison role. So you have someone already that you can work with, and if you don't have a chapter liaison, Lori and I and myself, I certainly can help with those efforts. So like we already mentioned, we have 30 men and women across the AEE chapters, and these are the local AEE chapters that have chapter liaisons. And you know, some of these folks I think are on the call today. I was trying to watch the participants as they jumped in, but some folks like Ellen Shepard, Heather Wheeler, Leslie Marshall, Sissy Bai, these are people that I work with monthly that attend the monthly chapter liaison meeting. So it's really great to hear. And we have much more work to do, and Lori and I are here to help the local chapters get a chapter liaison. So what's really required of the chapter liaison? One of the things when I started as the committee chair for CWEEL, I understood as a woman in energy with a family, with a full-time job, that I needed to make it very easy for these ladies to attend a monthly meeting. It's a 1-hour Zoom meeting with chapter liaisons, and for them to come prepared to talk about what's happening in their local chapters, and then I come prepared to talk about what are we doing at the CWEEL national board level. And I make it very easy for them. So just so you know, the goal is for these chapter liaisons to have about 5 minutes monthly to review notes that I actually give them. They have notes all ready to go so that you are aware of deadlines for scholarships, folks that need mentors, our online training that we're offering, and then any regional events that are happening. So they're prepared to give you an update as to what's going on with CWEEL every month. Again, knowing that these folks have a lot on their plate and it's a volunteer position, the minimum requirement is at least attendance once per quarter. And if they miss a meeting, they have the notes from the previous meeting, and it's a running tab. You know, as an engineer, I love my Excel spreadsheets. So they have everything they need, and I'm always available to answer any questions if a liaison has to miss a meeting. And again, the goal is let's give these liaisons a voice during the meetings with the chapter lead so that we can share best practices and drive our membership and show value for all AEE members and CWEEL members. You know, Lori and I, again, we're very excited to be here today. We are here to help in any way that we can. Here's both of our contact information. I would say that, you know, if you have any questions about chapter liaison or role, please reach out to me. And any questions regarding the chapter lead, please reach out to Lori. But we're both very committed to AEE and to CWEEL, and ensuring that we all get the value from these two awesome groups. So thanks. Lori, I don't know if you had anything else to add.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to just add about that time at your meetings. So of course we're all doing virtual meetings for the most part now, and maybe some of you are even just trying to figure out how to do that. But as we get into September and beyond and you start to pull meetings together again, please do give your chapter liaison that time that Deb is talking about, just a couple minutes. Because if she does that every single meeting and just highlights something different, something new, like our mentor program or scholarships or awards or whatever it is that we're doing, it'll start to really build recognition for CWEEL. And it'll also make the women that are in that meeting, which oftentimes in your chapters, there may be just one or two, but it'll make the women feel very welcomed and that they matter too in hearing about what AEE is doing with CWEEL. And that's what will ultimately help bring more women in, not just to one meeting, but to actually keep coming back and to join the local chapter and to join AEE. So that time, I think it's just a couple minutes, but if you could consistently do that at your meetings, that would be really beneficial to your chapters as well as to our overall organization. And I guess we'll open it up to questions. We've got, we did a really great job, Deb, like high five here. We did it in 20 minutes.
I was going to 2 thumbs up.
So if there are any questions that you have, please feel free. I don't know if we can hear you or if you want to type the messages. Oh, I see Romina is typing in from Chile. Hi, Romina.
I see one question on the Q&A portion. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll read it. It's from Tara. She says, I'm currently secretary of the New Mexico AEE chapter. What support and resources would be available to me as the CWEEL lead to establish and grow the CWEEL group?
That's a great question. So we are in the, literally today, appointing our new membership board chairperson for CWEEL. And that individual will be working closely with every CWEEL lead to build out their CWEEL groups. We also have information on programming. So as part of Deb's group, they share the kind of programs that some of our chapters have already implemented. We have, for example, in the DC area, that National Capital chapter runs an annual conference focused on women in energy. And that would be something that CWEEL group could do. Also for networking, if you guys don't have a Zoom account, we could work to help you out with that as well. So what I would say is between myself and our new board member, who I can't announce until after our board vote this afternoon, but between the two of us, we are fully committed to supporting you in developing those CWEEL groups. We can do outreach, and there's lots of things that we're going to be doing to help you.
Awesome. I have 2 more that came in. Ray from the Hawaii chapter treasurer, he said, is it acceptable for a man or a woman to be the liaison? Could the role be split between 2 chapter board members? They have a small board and only 40 members total, so they're thinking about splitting up the workload.
Yeah, I think ultimately, Lori, we wanted the CWEEL lead to be a female, correct?
Yeah, they're asking about the chapter liaison.
Oh, no. Yeah, so they could be one in the same position, or they could be split. They could be 2 separate people. I mean, again, I think that's a really valid point. We had talked about that workload as volunteers could become an issue. So you could have the CWEEL lead and liaison as one person, but ultimately we would like that to be 2 so that we can start to succession plan.
And while we would love for, well, for sure we want the CWEEL lead to be a woman, but as far as the chapter liaison, we would encourage women, but women and men have participated as chapter liaisons, both in the United States and internationally. Correct. So that could be a position held by a man if need be.
And then we have one more from Vicki Newman. She says, how does the CWEEL mentoring work?
Okay, so we have on our website application forms. And so whether you want to be a mentor or you want to be the mentee, there are 2 different applications. You go on to our website, download the application. It gives you instructions. All of the applications go in to Charlotte Wagner. She's our committee chair of the mentoring program. And then they work to pair appropriately a mentor and a mentee. And then what Charlotte does is on a monthly basis, she connects in with all of the pairs of mentor-mentees and gives them information and like a topic for them to focus on in terms of their monthly meeting. And what we found is that engagement has really helped our pairs to have a better, more successful relationship. And it helps the mentors feel like they don't have to come up with, what are we going to talk about? What do I need to do? So we give a lot of support and guidance on what the topics, and of course, the conversation can veer off into other things. That's fine. But having that guidance and support, I think, is really valuable. And the program for the mentor-mentees, you can start out initially by establishing a time frame. So, of course, you could always extend that time frame. But if you wanted to identify it for, a 6-month period, and then extend after that if it made sense, you certainly can do that as well. These mentor-mentee relationships are not intended to be lifelong.
And we also have a couple of great white papers, if you will, on the mentee-mentor program on the website, which is great to see, because you can see some of the things that the mentor got out of the relationship as well as the mentee, because both parties
yes.
Have success giving back and then receiving. So it's out there on our website. We could also put you in touch with Charlotte Wagner.
All right, I don't see any other questions, so.
All right, I'm going to take the mic back over again. And first of all, I'd certainly like to thank everyone who participated today. Michelle, thank you, of course, for your quick update today, CWEEL. And Laurie and Deb, thank you very much for your great in-depth and detailed presentation on CWEEL. We really appreciate that. Great information, and hopefully it'll spur additional questions. Thank you for having your contact information there up on the screen. As people think of other questions, they can reach out directly to you to get them answered, or they can go back to Michelle to get them answered. Again, thanks for everyone who participated today for being online. Our next meeting is in October, in the 15th of October. Excuse me, let me silence the phone. Supposed to have done that before we started. Our next meeting is on the 15th of October, and we look forward to seeing everyone there again. Thanks again for your participation and your questions. CWEEL is a very important part of AEE, and we look forward to seeing it continue to grow. I've enjoyed a number of the great breakfasts at the AEE meetings that CWEEL has put on, along with the wonderful presentations. You guys always have great speakers at each one of those. And once we're able to get back live again, and hopefully it won't be too terribly long before that happens, I highly encourage everyone to participate in those. Thanks again for your time. This concludes our presentation today. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Mom. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, Michelle.